Welcome to a brand new episode of The Kick Out. It's bank holiday weekend. Today's the Monday. I've had such a good time this weekend. I can't remember most of it, but it was fun had. I know that for sure. And I'm with here, my co-host Mex. I'm sure you had a really lovely weekend as well.
Yep, it's not finished. I'm trying to get out the last bit of sun in the next couple of hours, so we'll get through this episode and
me too.
Last bit of enjoyment.
For sure. Another thing that we enjoyed over the weekend was a wrestling pay-per-view. It was AEW's Double or Nothing 2021 pay-per-view. It was quite the showing. It's the first time they've had a live crowd in over a year.
Yeah.
Like a live,
apparently 1 year, 1 month, and 1 day.
The crowd was back. I was looking at the crowd was just like, it just felt like old times. Everybody was standing right next to each other. There was no social distancing. I was like, wow, they're really going for it. And the crowd just brought, like wrestling crowds do, just brought a new energy and new life into AEW and pay-per-view. And you could see it really sparked a lot of energy from the wrestlers going forward. I didn't get to see the pre-show, Mex.
Okay.
What match was that? Was that
Serena Deeb defending the NWA championship against Riho?
Okay, tell me about that. Was that good?
Fantastic match. I was watching this match thinking, how is anyone supposed to follow this? Like, they put on a clinic on the pre-show. Serena Deeb, I don't know, maybe because she's not necessarily glamorous and all of this kind of stuff, but she's sick. She's very, very good.
Yeah, she's been underrated for a very long time. Like CM Punk will tell you that, you know what I mean? Like she's been criminally underrated for a long time. But she's carved out her own lane, and I'm glad AEW's given her the platform to kind of show her talents. So how did this match kind of go?
Serena Deeb in her last match or two, she's kind of taken on the role of a heel. So she really kind of healed up against Riho, worked on her leg, I think it was her left leg, throughout the entire match, and that's what played into the finish. I forget what she calls her finisher, but she put her in it, and really like the torque on her leg, like Riho's foot was nearly touching her head. That's how she was like, it's like a Boston Crab sort of, but it's like she bending her back so much, her foot nearly touched her head, and Riho tapped out. But a lot of people were saying that there was a lot of sun during this. So it was a triple threat match between Serena Deeb, Riho, and the sun, because it was still quite early in the day over there. So the sun was hitting them in the ring, but really, really good match. Honestly, like I thought, they're doing too much in the pre-show still.
Okay, all right. I need to watch that match back. I caught the pay-per-view. I didn't see the pre-show, but the match that kick-started the pay-per-view, Hangman Page, Brian Cage. This was a very good opener. I was very pleasantly surprised. It was fun. The energy of the crowd, both men brought it. Well booked as well. In terms of booking, how this whole match laid out was amazing. Please talk to me about this match, mate.
Yeah, so like you said, obviously, Brian Cage had been the aggressor in recent weeks. Hangman Page has come to get his win back. I guess things started taking a turn when Ricky Starks, Hook, they got involved. Obviously, other members of Team Taz. Ricky Starks had given Brian Cage the FTW title to use. I think the referee was distracted. Brian Cage refused to use it. And then with that distraction is what led to Adam Page putting him away with the lariat. Really good match throughout. We saw an F5 from Adam Page, which was madness. It came out of nowhere.
Page did the avalanche F5 off the top rope.
Yeah, there was that as well. A lot of really good spots here. Brian Cage obviously showing his athleticism and stuff. I'm not too keen on his whole machine thing and that the get up he wears to the ring and stuff. I just think it looks cheap. I don't think that it's done well enough to pull off.
Yeah,
like I know it's like machine Terminator kind of vibes, but I don't think it looks great. But other than that, I felt it was a very, very good way to start the whole pay-per-view. The crowd were red hot. The crowd love Adam Page. Him and Darby Allin, they can do no wrong, bro.
Yeah,
very, very much so. So great start to the show.
Okay, I'm just gonna join us. We'll continue. Okay. So the Team Taz, it seems like it's starting to fall apart. Ricky Starks will probably be the main guy going forward, right?
So since Revolution, the last pay-per-view, Brian Cage has been teasing that he may leave, or that he's not a heel anymore and he's seeing a bit of sense and stuff like that. And then obviously this was a step in the right direction. There was a bit of shenanigans after the match as well, where he kind of pushed past Ricky Stark, and Ricky Stark was reminding him that, don't hurt me, like I've got my neck injury.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we might see in the next couple of weeks Brian Cage kind of leave these guys, which is fine by me because this is just a losing faction. But yeah, if Ricky Starks kind of takes on the mantle, could be fun. But yeah.
And then Powerhouse Hobbs maybe to have his own little solo run.
Yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs could kind of fill the void of Brian Cage. When they added Hobbs, I thought, isn't this Cage's roles in the first place?
For sure.
But the Cage needs to go off and do something a bit better, a bit more interesting, and these guys can slowly grow together. I think it works best.
Next up, we had the match between Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus the Young Bucks. This was a very good build-up going into this match. Young Bucks turning heel again, and even Young Bucks' reasoning for turning heel, and their family. Like that's Kenny Omega's my family. We're Young Bucks, you know what I mean? Like why would I not back him? Oh, we got Elijah in the building.
What's up,
Elijah? How are you, sir?
I'm good. It's nice weather today. Watched a great pay-per-view. I don't know, man. Yeah. Feels like the end of the wrestling pandemic, at least. Good spirits, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You look good?
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we really enjoyed. Yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed the pay-per-view as well. It does seem like everything's kind of going back to normal. And we were just talking about the Hangman Page Brian Cage match. Quickly, before we go into the tag match, what's kind of your thoughts of that opening match?
I guess in general, like AEW has to do these things where you kind of know where things are going, but then they still have to put on a good match on top of that, and you kind of know what the result is going to be. And it's just like how they're going to do it is the excitement. Yeah. And with this thing, like it was a good match, good opener, and it went exactly the way you expected. And I don't know, like nothing else really happened on top of that. Like hopefully what happens next is like Cage eventually leaves, and then Taz has to get the belt back off him. But it's got to find all the different challenges in it. It's like, okay, like I need a bounty on this guy's head. I need my FTW title back. And then there's this story there in it.
That's good.
It was a good match, man. I really enjoy Hangman. I really enjoy Cage. So yeah, and Taz on commentary as well, man. Like I'm an old school Taz fan. So yeah. You know, Ryan, innit? Like from day from.
Bro, that was your guy, bro. That was your guy. So. Elijah loved Taz so much. I think when Taz moved to WWE and the way he was booked, that was one of the first steps of when Elijah started hating WWE. How they treat people's favorites. It's like so. WWE. There's something else, man. All right, yeah. So Young Bucks versus Kingston and Moxley. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the build-up going into this. Max, please have a little rundown for us, please, on how this match went.
Yeah, the fans were mad for this match when these lot come out. And obviously we had just a big scrap before the match even got started. When the not their pyro, but the streamers, when the Young Bucks are posing in the ring and the streamers are on, that's when, these men kind of sneak attack them to get the match started. And just throughout the match, there was just it was good wrestling mixed with just, sheer brutality. Of course, we had to see Moxley bleed, which is becoming a regular thing at these pay-per-views. I think we saw Gallows and Anderson try to get involved in this match as well before the finish. But they were I think Gallows tried to do a sneak attack, but he was sussed out pretty quickly. And to get to the finish, we literally saw Young Bucks spam Moxley with the V triggers or the BTE trigger. Like they gave him 4, which is good in terms of, really making him look strong and being able to pin him. I think it would have been very easy to pin Eddie Kingston in this and keep Moxley strong and stuff, but they found a way to pin Moxley and all of that. A lot of mixed reviews online in terms of did the right people, walk out as champions. What do you guys think? Should the belts have changed hands here or
no? The Young Bucks needs to keep those belts for a while. Same with Omega needs to keep his titles for a while.
What's so wild though? Like, I mean, they've had the belts since November. Like, how long do you want them? It's man like June tomorrow. Like,
yeah, I hear you, but I'm not convinced.
I feel their tag run has only really started since they turned heel like a month ago.
For sure. Okay. I agree.
Before that, I think they were just kind of dilly-dallying and it wasn't really anything. But now it's something.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And also, I don't think Moxley and Kingston, just because they have some sort of chemistry, they won't have, realistically, they're not going to have the chemistry that Young Bucks has, especially, there's such an established tag team throughout the years. Yeah. So realistically speaking, in a booking sense, it was the right decision that the Bucks went over. But I really enjoyed it.
We can do the match again as well. Like, we know like Moxley's going to have a baby. It's like, why put the titles on him? He might not be on the show for a few weeks. It's like, there's a moment to clean this up. Bucks can go through a few more people, come whatever all out time when I don't know this kind of elite thing crumbles. Hopefully, like they can lose the Moxley, and Kingston, and we'll get to the other bits later.
After that, we had the Casino Battle Royal. I think this is the best they've done, the best battle royal they've done so far.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't so, some of these battle royals, it gets a bit messy. A lot of stuff's going on. You don't really know what's happening. A lot of these surprise entrants, and it just gets a bit tacky. But then this one was actually, I think, booked really well. Max, what was your thoughts about this match?
I thought it was booked really well, like you said. Obviously, we had Paul White out on commentary. This is the first time, unless you watch Elevation, this is the first time a lot of us would have seen him kind of do his thing on commentary. And if I'm completely honest, I wasn't really focusing on him, like I was just watching what's going on in the ring. Christian, Mr. Outwork Everyone, came out first and basically kind of ran the gauntlet throughout this. Max Caster was part of that first group that came out, and he had his raps as usual. As this match went on, we saw the Joker, who was Leo Rush. I feel he was good. The crowd were hyped for him, but I feel like it was a bit of a wasted debut.
Yeah. Elijah, do you think they've signed Leo Rush, or do you think this was just something where they might use him sporadically here and there?
I just read that he's with New Japan, so it's just like a sporadic thing. It's just like a nice thing for the crowd, and to be honest, they don't need more guys, right? So no, right now it's nice to have like a pop up on a night and like a guy to have a moment in North America in front of a crowd. But geez, we don't need more guys.
I don't think anyone kind of saw him coming. Obviously, people had mentioned Bryan Danielson, they had mentioned Andrade, Paul White off commentary. Like, no one had thought of Leo Rush, and for me, he kind of came in and he didn't look like he had any intention to win this. He looked like his intentions were just to fight Private Party. Just Mark Quinn and what's his face, Isaiah Cassidy. But after he was out, then obviously we had the little back and forth between Matt Hardy and Christian, which is obviously nice for a little callback to Attitude.
I did enjoy that the crowd stood up for that. I did like that. That was nice.
Yeah. Penta, when he was in, he looked brilliant in his little Joker costume and that. But yeah, when it was all said and done, Christian, Jungle Boy were the last two left. Jungle Boy won. Christian came back in, showed him respect, told him, you better win the AEW championship. I don't mind Jungle Boy winning. I think this is kind of good, but I do feel like it was a bit over celebrated. Like, maybe they just wanted the crowd to sing along with his, his Tarzan theme or whatever. But like, he's not going to beat Kenny Omega in 2 weeks. So why was the celebration so big?
Well, I think it's just kind of like put an establishment on Jungle Boy and where they want to position him in the company. So they probably have, instead of it being a case of, this is the man that's going to be the next champion, that's not going to happen. But this is the man that's the future. Does that make any sense? So he's probably that's them putting a stamp on it, like, this guy is our guy going forward. Like, yes, it won't be anytime soon when he wins the belt, but there's a lot of stock in Jungle
I completely get you, and I feel like that would make just a bit more sense if this was, say, King of the Ring.
Mm.
You see what I mean? Like these battle royals are so kind of throwaway, and like you said, they're putting this match on Dynamite in 2 weeks' time. Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy hasn't got a chance in hell that he's beating Kenny Omega on TV. Like,
Elijah, with Jungle Boy, do you think he can sustain this gimmick as a serious contender going forward, or do you think he'll go against Omega with this gimmick and do well in the mid card with this gimmick, but in terms of him hitting that main event status, they will have to change his gimmick a bit?
Nah, I'm not questioning any gimmicks at the moment because like Darby shouldn't work, Max Caster shouldn't work. There's certain things that I think I've spoken to you guys in WhatsApp before where it's like it's distinctive and it's different and it's new. There isn't a comparison of Jungle Boy from the past. There isn't really a comparison of like Hangman for the past, a sad cowboy. Like, what is that? Like, I don't know. But in a positive way, it's like it's just new. It's like new personalities for modern times. You know what I'm saying? I see these things like, okay, it's Jungle Boy, like an anxious kind of young guy. It's like a lot of people will identify with that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be like, I don't know, like the 80s, like to be a main eventer. Even Kenny's like that. Like there's some things in Kenny I just think they're so goofy, but it's 2021. It's just new energies, new auras, new personalities, and if it works, it works. I'm not gonna fight it.
I think Elijah's spot on there, and I think that's something WWE struggles with till this day. Like there's some instances where some wrestlers are so talented that they push their awkwardness and their weird, selves into making it work, and people can make it relatable. But I think Elijah's right where AEW is a bit more screwed on with, well, why can't this work? You know what I mean? Where WWE, I think they're still a bit stuck.
He's definitely right.
Yeah,
and
it's like that thing where you have to.
So I was just saying, you're right. And AEW don't have this thing where it's everyone has to be a heel or a face. Like you can just be yourself and be angry sometimes, and be sad sometimes, and be happy sometimes. But I was just gonna say, I think they are kind of leaving the door semi-open for Jungle Boy because obviously they call him Jungle Boy Jack Perry, so the Jungle Boy could very easily be gotten rid of, in my opinion, and he could just be Jack Perry. And his dad isn't his dad like an actor or something?
Yeah, Luke Perry. His dad was massive. When Elijah and I were kids, he was everywhere on Hollywood.
Oh yeah, I think that could be something that they draw upon once upon a time. If they ditch the Jungle Boy stuff, he can just be Jack Perry drawing that kind of stuff. But like it's all should be open for interpretation. That's what it should be. Yeah.
Elijah, were you going to say anything before we move on?
Yeah, it's just that I guess we have to get out of the mindset of thinking a certain type of personality is a main event personality or a main event type of presentation. It's the same like reason that there's not like many black champions. It's like, this isn't a main event look or gimmick or thing, or like it's like if we take away all those boxes and just go with what works and push that to the moon, then we're gonna have champions and teams and stars that didn't look like anything of the past, like completely unrecognizable. Like there's a lot of things on AEW that, like, if someone hasn't watched wrestling for 20 years, their mind will be blown. They'll be entertained, but they'll be like, okay,
how does this work?
How does this work?
So I want to kind of say counter to something you just said, Elijah, because there's a lot of people who are giving Kofi slack about the pancakes throwing and things like that. If he did that in AEW,
yeah,
would that work as a main event?
This is my thing with the pancakes, yeah, is and a lot of characters in WWE is that no matter what happens, they will do their entrance and throw the pancakes, whatever. But I think in any other wrestling company, if the previous time you saw them, they're getting spiked on their head, they'll be pissed. Or someone threw a drink over them, they're going to avoid getting drinks thrown over them. Do you know what I mean? There's subtle things that everyone has in their presentation. Even like a Moxley entrance, that all started from him getting jumped from behind from when he first came into AEW. So there's things that, like, you see the smarts of the baby faces and heels that they do to kind of develop their character. And if, let's say, the pancake thing throwing is like, hold on, I've got a title you boys throw the pancakes now. Like, let's do this. I'm a champion. Like, I'm gonna like level this thing up. Then it makes sense. But then, just like not changing like your mystique or your aura with a higher presentation, it's just weird to me. Like, you wouldn't do that in any other situation.
Okay. Cody Rhodes faced Anthony Ogogo. Was this the in-ring debut of Anthony Ogogo?
He's had 2 matches beforehand.
Had 2 matches before. Okay. I was very impressed with Anthony Ogogo. I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt he I didn't even realize he had the
blindness.
Yeah, percentage of his eyesight missing. I didn't know
that's
about
why he
that.
stopped boxing.
Right. So so I learned that over this weekend. I didn't know the reason why he actually stopped boxing, to be honest. But I thought he did really good. I think for a third time wrestling, I think he hung in there with Cody. I think Cody sold a lot of his punches well, which you don't really see much with boxing gimmick wrestlers. You do have the whole thing of, they've got a super punch. The Big Show did that whole punch thing and he can knock people out. But sometimes, that kind of gets lost where somebody's a professional boxer or has some sort of boxing background in wrestling, and then they wrestle for how many years, whatever. The whole punching thing kind of goes with missing a bit in the story. But I really loved how Cody really sold that this guy's punches are lethal, and bigging him up of his background. Max, what did you think of this match with Cody and Anthony Ogogo?
Yeah, I was very much impressed by Anthony Ogogo's offense. It was more than just someone that's green and just started and just doing the bare minimum to get by, as well as kind of the big man or the bigger man kind of stick. He was actually had a little arsenal of moves that he was putting together.
He did an angle slam.
He done that. He done the Olympic slam. He done the Olympic slam, which obviously fits in well with his character.
Yeah.
He done the frog splash, if you remember,
yeah.
which I thought was clean as hell, like the way he dropped that. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed in the result, if I'm honest. Now I understand that Cody is who he is and everything like that. They've put together this faction, the Factory, and Cody's beaten QT. He's beaten Ogogo, who's the biggest prospect of the faction. Is the faction rubbish now? Like I don't understand, and I feel like yes, they can still kind of develop this story a bit more of it. Ogogo and the QT are tagging on Wednesday to face Cody and Lee Johnson. Ogogo probably pins Johnson to get a win back or something like that. But I just feel like will Cody be more self-aware? Like I feel like, I don't know, the selfishness, maybe everything that he's previously criticized the likes of Triple H for, are we slyly beginning to see this more and more from himself?
Elijah, what do you think?
There's I guess yes and no. Like what should have happened is this feud should have just happened at a different period of time. The faction formed straight after Pinnacle. There's sometimes there's too much going on in the show that. They had a sick moment and a turn, but because there was only a certain amount of weeks they could get this in, it didn't really work for me. And Cody had to win because it was Memorial Day weekend, so they weren't going to have they were going to have the American kind of win and make his point. But Cody made some point about having a mixed race child or having a black wife, and it's like Anthony Ogogo's black, so I didn't really get what he was getting at. and he's from England as well. It's I don't like, as a British fan of wrestling, especially as a black man, I don't really want to see that in my wrestling. I don't even want to see that dynamic happen. And so maybe I'd kind of checked out of the match and what it means. But yeah, I don't want to see a new guy getting beaten by EVP when he's Olympic bronze medalist. Sorry, I don't want to see that. Nah,
yeah.
What feeling?
It's a weird one. I guess Cody has been a bit generous with some losses in the business. Remember when he first started with AEW, he put a lot of people over at first, and then now he's kind of, regaining his winning streak back. Because obviously, eventually, it's gonna come down to Cody and Omega at some point.
Cody has banned himself from the AEW Championship.
But that's not gonna happen.
Well,
It is. They have to. They have to stick to it. They have to.
That they're not.
They could go to Omega and Cody after Omega loses the title for like, I guess, like some sort of power control between the EVPs. That's what they could. But they've done the feud already. They've done it.
I'm letting you guys know now.
they've done it.
Cody is going to win that title at some point in his career. At some point, he's going to delay it. It's going to get delayed. He's not going to have it for any time soon. But he is going to win that belt for sure. Sure.
Okay. That see like that. If they break that stip, I can walk away from AEW. Calm. Like I obviously I enjoy this stuff, innit? But if they break that stip, then it's like okay.
But what if he cuts like a killer promo?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They didn't need to do it in the first place. No. They didn't need to do it in the first place. If you see like in WWE we have multiple rematches, so you up the kind of ante of each thing. On this one, it was the first match with Jericho, and he just goes, "Oh, if I don't win, then I'll never try challenge again." All right, go for it. Cool.
Yeah,
I do hear your point. All right, I really like this match as well. Miro versus Lance Archer. I thought these two worked really well together. It's kind of I wouldn't say a dream match. I don't think this is on anybody's dream match, but it's something that you would want to, if you asked me a couple of years back, who would you put WWE versus NJPW, when Lance Archer was in NJPW and Miro was Rusev, I would have probably put them together in a solo match. So I was actually looking forward to this match. Max, what did you think of this technical submission match between Miro and Lance?
It was just a beefcake match, like just brutal. Two big guys beating the hell out of each other. I wish they were kind of afforded a bit more time. Obviously, in recent times, we've seen a lot of these matches in WWE between the Braun Strowmans, Drew, Bobby Lashley, Sheamus, that kind of crew. But yeah, this was similar. I thought Rusev looked brilliant. For those that don't know, before the pay-per-view, they had like a weigh-in, or I think it was yesterday, in fact, they had a weigh-in. And Miro attacked Jake the Snake at the weigh-in, so he's obviously still riling up Lance Archer. Lance Archer came straight out, very annoyed, done the old school thing, walked the ropes and the backflip, which is always cool to see. Jake the Snake came to get involved again with a snake in bag, and Miro took the snake bag and just launched it back down the entranceway. The whole crowd was screaming, and then he had this kind of real crazed look on his face, and I thought, this is the guy we've been waiting for. Finally, after all this time, he has now arrived, and he eventually locked in the or he calls it the game over, the accolade or camel clutch or whatever they call it.
Made him humble.
Made him humble, Elijah. Made him humble.
It was. He didn't even last long in it. Before long, referee just kind of went down to the mat and just said he's passed out. It's done. It's over.
But did you notice the commentary on it though? Yeah.
No, what did they say?
The commentary is the most important thing. It said Lance Archer had spinal surgery 4 years ago, so that's why.
He said that earlier on in the match, isn't it?
Storytelling.
So that was the way of getting out of that.
Storytelling. I like it. Good point you mentioned, Mex, about this is what we've been waiting for with Miro finally being shown like the beast that he is, like he was in WWE in his early days. I know AEW got a bit of slack for having certain wrestlers that they've acquired that wasn't really given much or wasn't really pushed like they should have been in WWE. And people wanted them to be coming to AEW and become an instant success. But I actually feel AEW did a really good job of just acquiring this talent and then just slowly building them up back to where they are. Because I think once you do the whole thing of you're acquiring a WWE talent and bring them straight into your company and doing what WCW has done for so many years, and then to skyrocketing that talent straight to the moon, that means you're still in a way putting over WWE. You're still making WWE look like a better brand because you're like, look, we have this mega stuff in WWE, so we need to use this guy to be our mega star. That you're just kind of letting us know in a way that WWE is where it's at if you want to have a star. So I feel like they did a smart thing, in my opinion. I think it was very smart for them to have them in the company and then just leave them laying in limbo for a little while and then slowly build them up. And now, when I think of Miro, I don't even think of Rusev. I think of Miro. Do you get what I'm saying? I think of an AEW star. And who was the other guy they could have done that with? They must have signed someone from WWE recently, and they kind of slowly haven't used them. Someone else. I'm not thinking.
I agree. I completely agree with you. Yeah, and I agree with you. I think the majority of people just weren't into what Miro was doing in that limbo period, in that meantime, with the whole gaming stuff, which it became his persona when he was released from WWE because he was online, he was on Twitch and all of that kind of stuff. So that they let that kind of play into his on-screen, persona. And I just think people weren't into it. But 100%, everyone would have waited for, this Miro to eventually come if what he was just doing beforehand was a bit more interesting, I guess.
Elijah, what did you think of Miro throwing the snake bag?
That's jokes. I guess I guess I didn't watch like a lot of like Miro's earlier stuff in WWE. So I don't know if he's had like great matches, but like this match and the match with Darby is like the best things I've seen him do ever. So
Miro in WWE, he had great matches with Roman Reigns, Cena, Cody. He had a great match with Cody one time. So he had some great matches. He had, and people really so. But man.
But to have the last two matches he's done, or I didn't see the Dante Monte one, but like these TNT title defenses, or the one where he won and this one, like if that's the first time you ever seen this guy, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's serious. Like
exactly. One of my highlights of the night was this next match, Britt Baker versus Hariko. How do you say Hariko? Hikaru. Yeah. I really enjoyed this match, and I actually felt it was the right decision to put the title on Britt Baker. I think she's done a lot of great work since she turned to a heel. A lot of her promo work. She's been very funny, very comical, but just a very likable heel. And it showed. I think the crowd was red hot for her, and they were very happy that she won the title. And I really like the new women's championship as well. I like the look of it. And every time that's an old wrestling trick. Every time they change the title, they're gonna put it on somebody new. So I had a feeling that she was gonna win this match. But Elijah, what did you think of this match?
Again, like I was saying when I joined, is that AEW falls into this trap where you kind of know what's going to happen, or you kind of, it's been building for so long. Shida had been a champion for a year. Shida broke her nose last year at the beginning of the pandemic. You kind of know, so the crowd is just waiting for her to win. Basically, they're just sitting at the edge of their seat waiting for it. And I think for a performer, that must be really difficult to kind of not deliver until it's delivered, basically. So in that sense, it's kind of hard. And to be honest, like Britt Baker, and another thing about AEW in general, they have these heels where people enjoy the heel work. It's not just like heat, and you're gonna have these weird reactions where she's actually getting cheered, even though she's like cussing people. Like, it's gonna be fun when she starts cutting promos in front of big crowds, because effectively she's gonna be a babyface but a heel.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be weird.
For sure.
So,
Max, did you right decision?
Yeah, man. This has been, like Elijah said, it's kind of been overdue to an extent. She's been absolutely brilliant. Although she just carried the belt and had brilliant matches throughout the pandemic period, Britt Baker has been the star of the division. Even when she got injured, she was still on TV every week, cutting promos and doing what she could. Really got her character over. She's improved in the ring. She's improved with her promos. And I think that
main event she had must have really done wonders.
The one with Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, where she busted her head open and all that stuff, and her teeth and mashed up her face.
And then obviously she had after she won the title, she had a little embrace with Tony Schiavone, which at first they said, oh, Tony's left commentary and stuff. So I thought obviously he's gonna meet her up there, have a little interview, man started hugging her. So Tony Schiavone's obviously been helping her a lot backstage behind the scenes, develop this character with her promos as well. So I guess that's what that was, kind of a nice moment. But
they had that on-screen frenemies thing, innit? It's like the first episode, so it's like again, it's just like just subtle things. It didn't need to like take up loads of time, but it's just like
a stadium full of returning fans that were happy to see her win that title, but not everybody was happy to see her win that title. Did you hear what WWE did when she won that title?
They done that before.
Oh, was that before?
They done that like 2-3 days ago.
Oh, well, then that's all right then. Well, I don't think that's a big deal then, because there was a big controversy about it online. And I thought, well, okay, they must have said that. They must have posted that as soon as she won the belt. But
No.
it was a few days before. That's not that deep.
Did you see Elijah? You know what we're talking about?
No.
Nia Jax squashing Britt Baker in 2016 in a match. They put a video on their Instagram.
Again, these kind of things are like more damning for them. It's like
100%.
You missed out on a star. You missed out on having some of these people, and like look at the positions of the two stars.
100%.
Yeah.
Sting and Darby Allin faces off against Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. So I actually thought when I first saw that first promo with Sting joining Darby Allin in the car, I thought, okay, this is gonna be another Hollywood match. I'm here for these matches, especially with Sting, because I don't really want to see that man in the ring anymore, if I'm honest with you. So I actually think the cinematic stuff kind of works with Sting. I think they've actually, when they did that match with the tag match with Team Taz, I thought that was brilliant. Yeah. So I thought, okay, more of this, I don't mind. But then actually, no, I was wrong. It was actually a tag. And I don't know. Because Sting, it seems that people are happy with Sting's performance.
I think he done well, man. He's 62, bro. I think he did as well as he could have done. Him no selling that suplex on the entrance way and just getting up straight afterwards and standing behind.
Yeah, that was nice. I like that, and he did the dive afterwards. I like that. But I guess for me, it's because I know what he can do. I wouldn't go as far to say he still got it, because people were saying that online that he still got it. He could still go.
Yeah, that's an exaggeration.
Yeah,
it's an appreciation thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I think, like, to be honest, like, this made my morning. I watched this morning, yeah, and I was just chilling, like, you know, just in my seat, and then when he took the suplex, I was like, oh, I don't want us to go wrong. And he popped up, and I popped.
Yeah.
And then he dived off the thing, and I popped again. He took off his shirt, I popped. I was
you know what? And I think that was the whole point of that. He's gonna take this suplex, and the whole crowd is gonna worry, like, oh my god, is he done? But if he no-sells it and gets up straight away and does the dive afterwards, and then he takes off the shirt, and everyone can see, you know, he's still in good shape. He's still in all right shape for his age, especially. Yeah, man, I think it worked.
No, for sure. Big up Sting. No, you're right. Big up Sting. And Elijah, and it worked. It did work. Because obviously everybody was talking about Sting. Sting was trending. He was trending online after that match. So it worked. And I love Sting. I've been a massive Sting for years. Massive Sting mark for years. So I'm always excited to see Sting whenever it happens. I just wouldn't go as far to say that I don't think he can have a full match. Does that make any sense? I think these tag matches that needs to happen. But I like the no-sell.
It could have been booked differently. Like, see, like a few weeks ago on Dynamite, they had Archer talking to Sting, and Sting's like, "Go for it." So they could have put Archer with Darby and Sting, had another man with Page and Scorpio Sky, and had it as a 6-man. Then you get a bit less of Sting. There's less demanded of him. You get the moment where Archer, Sting, and Darby are standing next to each other. You could kind of, I don't know, move Lance away from Jake a bit, because it's a bit, I don't know, it's not really working, it's not clicked.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have put as much pressure on Sting having to do that much, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes a different match. Like, you have a tag team title match, then 4 matches later, you've got obviously just a random tag match. I think just having a 6-man just switches it up, another body on TV, is something different.
Yeah. They may do that. They may put Miro with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I guess that's something they could still do in the future. Do you see Ethan Page's throw?
The Spike Dudley spot. Yeah,
mate. Yeah. What the hell was that? I never saw that coming.
Yeah, there was Spike Dudley spot there. Shout out to Spike Dudley and Bam Bam Bigelow from ECW days. But yeah, that was a really nice spot. And it landed on Darby's family. That's what I liked about it. So you never know, because that could, I don't know if Darby's brothers or wrestlers or into wrestling or because obviously you would imagine Darby's probably was taking all these crazy spots with them before he became a professional wrestler. So you never know, they might have a little first of taking spots themselves, maybe not getting into the ring, but at least taking some bumps. So this could continue. This feud could continue with Darby Allin and Ethan Page, where the family gets involved, and you might see the family doing some.
It's definitely continuing between those two. 100%.
Yeah. So one thing I really loved about this finish was the intelligence of Sting, the experience, you know, the 60-year-old veteran. Scorpio Sky tried to do that springboard cutter. Sting holds onto the rope. gives him the Scorpion Death Drop. So I thought that was a very clever way to finish the match. And that was it. Just a Scorpion Death Drop, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. No kick out, no long.
Again, you can show this match to someone that hasn't watched wrestling in 10, 20 years, and they would enjoy it. Like, just no context. Like, you don't have to tell them how old Sting is. You don't have to give them any context of Darby Allin. It's just like, this is the bad guys, this is the good guys. And that's it.
You're absolutely right.
Or you wouldn't even have to say that. You could literally just be like, bam, play.
Work it out.
13 minutes later, and people will be like, oh, right, wrestling's still sick. Like,
absolutely right. And that goes on to the next match. I have the same sentiment for this match, the three-way AEW World Championship match. I felt this match was thoroughly entertaining. I absolutely loved this match. I'm not gonna lie. I think this was probably my favorite match of the night. I don't know if you guys disagree with me or not.
This match was a lot of fun. Yeah, the only thing I found was the Kenny Omega using all the belts. I felt was a tad overbooked. But
I love that.
No, yeah, you know what? I'll give it to him.
Listen, Max, I've got no problem with that.
You know why? No, I don't have a problem with it because, like I said, I had a problem with it until I thought this character of Kenny Omega is extra. He is over the top. This is exactly what he would do.
Are you not seeing that? That's where they're going. Like Elijah obviously mentioned that earlier with the weird kind of character of Kenny, but even with how the Young Bucks and how Gallows and Anderson are kind of dressing up,
they're extra.
They're getting extra now. So this is like another version of Bullet Club, like an alternative version of Bullet Club where they're just a bit more hokey.
That's what I mean.
But they're still badass. You get what I mean? But it still works. But I thought Orange Cassidy was amazing in this match. Park is one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen, period.
Yeah.
And Omega is the best wrestler today. So you've got one of the best wrestlers you've ever seen in Park, the best wrestler today, Kenny Omega, and an upcoming fun wrestler who knows his character to a T and makes it work, no matter what the dynamic is. I thought this was booked brilliantly. I love the spots. Like, it was so I laughed and I really thoroughly enjoyed this match. So Elijah, what did you think of this triple threat match?
Just when you think that you haven't seen enough different ways for Orange Cassidy to put his hands in his pockets. Mind blowing.
The reversal off the top rope. He's rocking his hands. I was crying.
Oh my days.
I was crying.
Again, like, I think I was saying about main event gimmicks. Is Orange Cassidy a main event gimmick? On paper, no. Does it work in a main event? Yes. So is it a main event gimmick? Yes.
Yeah, I have to agree. I wouldn't. If you asked me this 2 weeks ago, I would have said no way. After watching I guess, and seeing is believing as well. Wrestling has to be. That's what wrestling needs to do more. Is seeing is believing. Give people a chance. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you've got to give people a chance. I think there's too many no's. I'm not talking about AEW. I'm talking about, what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there's too many no's to even fathom a thought of this could work. Oh, nah, he would never. Remember, imagine when Damon Sandow was red hot and he had that stupid, kind of similar to what Orange Cassidy does. He had that stupid gimmicks. He was the Miz's stuntman. And he's doing all that stuntman stuff. Very similar to what Orange Cassidy does. He was red hot. The crowd he was over with the crowd, but he was never given, even though he won Money in the Bank, they took the money back away from him because they didn't want to believe he could become a star. But Orange Cassidy's proven he could have been a star. He could have been something. So absolutely. I thought this was brilliant, and I love that title spot. I loved it.
Yeah, just some of the reversals, like Pac. I don't know. Like, there's some of the wrestlers in AEW that like may never get proper runs with the title. That they need to change the dynamics of what a world title is or what a world champion is. Like, I don't think a world champion has to be world champion for 6 months or 3 months or whatever. If Pac has it for 1 month and 2 defenses, it'll be worth it.
Well, Elijah just made a very good point, and Park was the other guy I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking of. It was Park. I said Miro, and Park was the other guy.
Just going off Elijah's point, I think this is why the likes of WWE, they don't bother with the Sandows and stuff, because they think the world title has to be 6 to 12 month run with it. So they won't give someone their spotlight because they're hot at the time. You can crown someone that is hot at the time, and even if it lasts, like we're saying, 6 weeks or something, or why not? Like we there's too much of a rigid approach with these things.
Yeah, because don't you want to see Pac as champion? Don't you want to see Rey Fenix as champion? They want to see, I don't know, like Darby Allin. Like, why not? Like, why not? I mean, if we want to see different looks of champions, different kinds of matches, different finishes, like how do you get out of the paradigm of like just you can only be the top guy? Like it doesn't really make any sense. And like no other sport works like that. Leicester won the Premiership.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Liverpool won the Premiership.
Right. We're coming back next year, trust me.
There you go.
Inner Circle, Pinnacle, Stadium Stampede match. This was this is the second time there's been the second time, so 2 years in a row now. I don't know about this one.
I personally thought the first one was better.
Me too. Better. I really enjoyed the first one. This one, I don't know. It was a bit
just long.
Yeah, it was too long. This match was 31 minutes and 30 seconds, and it was just. There was some stuff I really enjoyed about this match, but it just got to be. I did love the Conan cameo though. I popped for that.
That was cool.
Pick up Conan. I love Conan. But yeah, I don't know.
I think how it ended was very good.
Yeah,
Sammy Guevara getting the win back. Sammy Guevara is the person that has kind of. He was at the center of the inception of the Pinnacle with, being kicked out of Inner Circle, whatever, by MJF. And then obviously he costed Inner Circle the Blood and Guts match by surrendering to save Jericho. So him being the hero at this time is very much, what I kind of assumed was going to happen, but it was good to see how it kind of played out. And now, where I guess Jericho is still holding this arm injury and rumored to be going on tour very soon, Guevara can kind of step into this position of the kind of deputy to Jericho as, running the Inner Circle with these other guys behind him. It looks like maybe they're going to do a rubber match maybe between Inner Circle and Pinnacle because, it's one apiece now. So whatever that will be, whenever that will be. But it was just a cool kind of brutal match. I don't think it was anywhere near as entertaining as the first one. And maybe it's because they had to kind of take into consideration. I know some of it was pre-recorded, but obviously they had a live crowd there, so maybe you had to come back into the ring and do whatever. But it was good. Should it have finished the show though? Do you think this or the Omega match should have finished?
For me, the Omega match should have finished the show. But then again, I guess I don't know what actually. No, it was the right thing to finish the show with this match because you wanted the crowd. The crowd's back for the first time for a year or so. You want them singing along to Judas. Yeah, you kind of want that little nice feel-good ending. So I guess that's what happened. Yeah. I do want to see these guys face off once more. I do enjoy it. I mean, really enjoying this rivalry. I think this rivalry and this storyline is really, really good. So I do want to see more of this. We'll see where it goes. Mark Henry has joined. He's All Elite now. He's joined. I've got two things to say. Apparently, he wants one more match. Why? Why does he want a match?
He said this like 2 months ago or so. He wants another match because he feels like he hasn't got to give the rub to anybody. He doesn't just want to leave without, putting someone over, ideally. And I think we all kind of speculated at the time, well, that person should probably be Keith Lee. But then Keith Lee's been off TV for such a long time. With the Mark Henry thing, I got two things to say. One, how is WWE allowing all like their legends to just kind of come over here? And obviously it's not allowing per se, but it's like, why are the roles that these guys are taking up in AEW not afforded to them in WWE? And surely that's got to be an issue. And two, with the Cody speech the other weeks about this, that, blacks and this, isn't it somehow a bit convenient they just sign a black man and announce it on what is their biggest show?
Well, I think the Mark Henry thing was always in talks for a little while. When Mark Henry was expressing how much he's enjoying AEW and the podcasts.
He has been doing that quite a bit.
And then I think Tony Khan was a guest on a podcast that Mark Henry was involved in, and they had a conversation on the podcast. And Mark Henry was like, "Oh, like sign me up." He's like, and Tony Khan was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking of getting you involved." And he's like, "Yeah, sign me up, brother." So I think that was always in the talks to get Mark Henry involved. And obviously, Mark Henry and Big Show are like really, really good friends.
Yes, I think that's probably the glue.
That would have helped him as well. And in regard to the producer, I think Mark Henry and Big Show both been like producer roles in WWE after they retired and stuff like that. I think they've both been actively part of. I feel that they're probably a bit more passionate. They're probably enjoying the product AEW more. They are WWE. They're probably enjoying it in terms of watching it. there's certain talent in WWE that will probably intrigue Henry and Big Show, but in terms of like being able to be effective in a whole new environment, whole new company, must be really appealing for them. So that's probably what it is more than anything. But
if you've been working with the same company for 20 plus years,
yeah, exactly.
Like, realistically, like it's just good to step away and do something new, like work with different people, different system. I don't know.
I 100% agree. I just feel like as a if you say you're WWE as a corporation like WWE, wouldn't you be concerned that no one wants to stay here? Well, at what point do alarm bells start ringing that these are all your top legends? You could say, maybe someone went to WCW and then came to you, but these are your legends, your Hall of Famers, and they're all going to work for, who is, I guess, your closest to competition in North America. Isn't that concerning if you're running a company?
That happened in the 90s. That's bound to happen. Like the older talent and older people who have already made a name in the wrestling industry were going to WCW, and WCW would go back to WWE, back and forth.
TNA, right?
Yeah, TNA.
I guess that was based on money. Like going from WWE to WCW.
This is money. Yeah, of course. Money. You're working for a billionaire, man.
Bro, Tony Khan's giving them bank, bro. This is money.
Right,
but what I'm saying is, I think WWE should start to worry if it's the main talent right now. If the likes of the Street Profits and the likes of Seth Rollins, Cesaro, stuff like that, if they want to start going to AEW, that's when I'll start to worry. But they're not going to worry.
But there's a ceiling anyway. There's a limit of how many people can go. So in this period, the last couple of years, we might not have a wave like this again, because from October 2019 to now, they went from like a one show thing to a YouTube, then 2 YouTubes and 2 TV shows and pay-per-view and live events. It's a completely different thing to what was originally proposed. So you can't get 10 more WWE guys on there. Like it's not going to happen. Like how many producers do you need? How many announcers do you need? So
they've got a new show coming, remember, in August.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they've got a lot of guys as well. So like they've got how many announcers? Like they've got Shivani, Excalibur, JR, Taz, Big Show, Mark Henry. You got other people that can step in and do work. I hear, I listen to Dark sometimes, and I'm like, okay, imagine if you're training some of these other guys that are kind of towards the end of their careers, like Sean Spears and Dustin's and these kind of people, to get in the commentary and get in the production, and Jerry Lynn's there. All these people, like there's more than enough. Like, pop it.
All the best to him, though. All the best to Mark Henry.
All right, let's rank AEW Double or Nothing out of 5. Elijah, I'm gonna come to you first, my man. What would you give this paper?
So it's a solid 4 out of 5, like a classic main event, classic world title match. Stadium Stampede was fun but not great. Excellent world tag team match. Sting was super fun. There's other moments. There was a bit of a dip in the middle of the show, but it's just another great AEW pay-per-view, man. I think I've only been disappointed by one, and one out of about 8 of them now. Actually, it's with how many years in now?
Or about 2 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years in. So yeah, doing all right. I think so 4.
Yeah. I'm agree with Elijah. Max?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree as well. I think maybe the one thing that kind of I say let it down, it was actually quite a long card. There was 9 to 10 matches on it, which makes sense because they only have pay-per-views like every 3 months or so, every 2-3 months. But that's what probably caused a bit of the dip in the middle sort of thing, a little bit of lack of energy. But other than that, really good show.
Well, Elijah, thank you for joining us, my friend. We need to do more. We're gonna do more of this again. I'm looking forward to see what happens at Dynamite this week. And
I'll only come on here when it's AEW pay-per-views or if WWE ends up working with New Japan.
Hey, listen, if that happens, that needs to. We need to document all of that if that happens. So, but thank you for joining us, my brother.
That's all love.
And Max, I guess we'll see what happens on Raw this week, and we'll follow up with some more wrestling later on in the week.
Sure.
We got some special interviews coming up. I think we got Paul Heyman on the show on Thursday, and
What?
Yeah, we got Paul Heyman on the show on Thursday, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And then and we'll just talk about whatever's next, I guess.
Cool.
I don't even want to talk about W more. All right, so we'll leave it as that. Thank you so much, Elijah. This has been a kick out. Guys, please subscribe, follow us as you always do, and keep supporting and showing people around our product. And we got some more stuff coming. Peace.